I'm making this video to show you what to expect, both brow-wise and emotion-wise, going through the healing process. This is going to follow my coworker's experience, day 1 through 30. So I hope that it is educational, and I hope that it helps calm your nerves as you're going through these same emotions and the same process. All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I don't start working out for another couple weeks, so it'll be good.
Yeah, that'll give you some time to not have to sweat and let it really heal up. It's so crazy that this arch is like totally fakey, and it just, you would never know it. There's really
people
only
are
like
always really shocked.
A handful of hairs up here. This is day 2. Day 2 through 3, this is typically what brows look like. It's very subtle, but you can see how instead of having an indentation to the skin with each stroke, they're now starting to raise up off the surface just slightly, but you can still see spacing in between them. That is exactly what you want. But you can see how already they're looking darker and thicker. And right about now, usually your emotions are like, oh my gosh, they're too big, they're too dark, what was I thinking? That is completely normal. And here and there where we built outside of your natural, for example, we built a really nice arch on her. This is all fake over here. This arch will look a little bit too big. And that's normal because the scabbing and the extra strokes we put in over there make it look bigger. So don't worry about your weird shape. Just know that this is completely normal for day like 2 through 3. This is day 5, healing. I'm gonna zoom in here. You can see that some of these scabs are still just ever so slightly raised off the surface. But they're starting to thin out and starting to flake off. And over here, we have in the center area more of the scabs flaked off. And up in here, focus, most of her scabbing is gone. What is absolutely normal is to feel like your shape is completely off and that your color is uneven because you're starting to flake and it's feeling uneven. But you should start to notice your scab starting to come off, and if you feel it, like the texture through here, you should be able to feel still a little bit of something on top of your skin, but not nearly as much buildup as it had been. And that's how you know that your scabs are starting to thin out and starting to come off. Okay, and this is day 8. So all scabbing is gone, but the pigment itself is just very faded and milky looking. And from here, we just have to wait for the pigment to come back in. You can see if you look carefully, come on, zoom. There's almost some little white flakes. The skin will continue to shed over the next few weeks until it reaches that full 30-day skin cycle. And that flaking and shedding is what helps that pigment come back up through the surface. And you might have just a few little red irritated spots from the scabbing. That's totally normal. You can keep applying oil to keep them moisturized, but again, it almost looks like there's kind of a white milky layer of skin over the pigment. It looks oftentimes ashy or just super faded at this point, and that is completely normal. So normally at this point you just feel like, oh my gosh, where did my brows go? They didn't stick at all. What's happening? Totally normal. Okay, and here we're just a few days shy of day 30, so tiny bit more ink might come through, but this is probably just about where they'll end up. And our strokes are definitely in there now. They're not so faded. As you can see, it almost looks like they just raised up through the surface so they feel a little bit more just crisp, I guess is a good word. They are just lovely. And there's just a few little random spots kind of like up in here that we maybe didn't keep a few and things like that. So we probably will do just like one little baby touch up on her, but we're not gonna have to do much. Oh, here. We're just a few days shy of day 30, so tiny bit more ink might come through, but this is probably just about where they'll end up.